We asked ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini, and Claude who the best lawyer is across 15 cities and 25 practice areas. And then we read all 38,000 real answers. In the last video, we found that three of those four name a specific firm almost every time. Now, we're going after the harder question. Why those firms? And here's why you should care before we get into the actual how. Right now, there's a lawyer in your city who's not as good as you. They've got a worse trial record, weaker results. But when someone asks the AI for the best lawyer in your practice area, it says his name and not yours. And I'm guessing you can't figure out why, because on paper, you should win. So I'm going to tell you why he wins. And once you hear this, you're not going to forget it. The AI is not judging you the way a client judges you. A client looks at your face, your confidence, how you make them feel in a consult. The AI can't do any of that. It has never sat across a table from you. So it does the only thing it can do. It looks for proof that you're real. Think about how a careful person acts when someone asks them to vouch for a stranger. If your neighbor asks you to recommend a contractor and you're not sure, you don't just blurt out a name and risk your neighbor's kitchen. You reach for the guy three different people already told you were good. You want backup before you put your own credibility on the line. The AI works exactly like that neighbor, except it's cautious at a scale you can't imagine. It's about to put its own reputation behind a law firm's name in front of a stranger on the most important decision that person might make all year. So it wants backup. It wants to see that other trusted voices already said your name first. And it's not real like you exist. It's real like you're established. Real like other trusted places already point at you and say, yeah, that law firm, they're legit. The AI is basically a nervous fact checker. It does not want to hand a stranger a name and be wrong. So it reaches for the name that the rest of the internet already agrees on. We saw this in the data clear as day. When we looked at where Perplexity pulled its answers from, it cited a directory in about 96% of the time. Not a law firm's own website, a directory, a third party. Somewhere your name sits next to 1,000 other attorneys and a rating. I'll tell you, two directories kept showing up. Super lawyers turned up in about 16% of all the citations we counted. Justia, about 13%. Those are the places the AI goes to check its work before it says your name out loud. So sit with me for a second to understand what that means. The AI is not reading your beautiful homepage and deciding you're the best. It's checking whether the places it already trusts have vouched for you. Your website is talking about yourself. A directory listing, a review, a mention in a local paper, that's someone else talking about you. And the AI will always trust someone else. This is the whole ballgame. So let me make it really clear. The AI does not reward the best website. It rewards the most vouched for law firm. I learned this lesson the hard way in a different life long before AI. Years ago, I watched a company pour a fortune into the most gorgeous website in their category. I'm talking slick, it was fast, every word was perfect, and they got beaten in search by an uglier competitor who had one thing they didn't. Everyone else already linked to that competitor. The web had voted, and no amount of pretty could outvote it. Same rule now, just a new judge. There's an order to this that most firms get backwards. They think the game is relevance. Say the right words, mention the right practice area, stuff the right city into the right pages, and the AI will find you relevant and pick you. Well, Relevance is not the problem. You are relevant. You're a real lawyer in a real city doing real work. The AI can tell you're relevant in about half a second. What it can't tell is whether you have authority. Are you a name it can stand behind? That's the real question, and authority comes first. Relevance gets you into the pool of possible answers. Authority is what makes the AI pull your name out of the pool and actually say it. Authority before relevance. Get that backwards, and you'll spend a year perfecting words nobody's thinking about while your competitor quietly stacks up the proof that actually moves the needle. Now, here's the good news, and it's the reason that I'm making these videos. Authority is not a software setting. You can't just buy it in a box. It's built out of 100 small signals that say the same thing over and over. This firm is real. This firm is trusted. This firm is woven into this place. Reviews are one of those signals. Directory listings are one too. Local links are one. Mentions, photos, write ups. Your firm's name showing up in enough corners of the web that the pattern becomes undeniable to AI. Each one is a tiny vote. The AI counts votes. So let me make that concrete because signal is a slippery word. Say you sponsor a program that the local police department runs for kids over the summer. You show up, you help, and you ask the city to link to your firm from their website. Now, your name sits on a government website, one of the most trusted kinds of sites there are. The single link tells the AI something you could never convincingly say about yourself. It says a serious, established institution vouched for your law firm. You didn't write that, the city did. That's why it counts. Your homepage saying, "We're the best," is worth almost nothing to the AI. A trusted outside source pointing at you is worth a great deal. One is a claim, the other is proof. And every one of those votes traces back to something you do in the real world. That's the bridge, and it's where we're headed for the rest of this series. The lawyer everyone knows in town has been casting these votes for years. He just called it community work. He called it referrals. He called it staying in touch. He never knew he was also teaching an AI to trust him. So the question from part one has an answer now. The AI picks the most vouched for name. The lawyer who wins is not the best writer or best marketer. He's the one the rest of the world already agrees on, which means the real work was never convincing the AI. It was becoming the kind of law firm the AI has no choice but to believe in.